Welcome everybody back to the Night Crew. I'm Carlton, that's Jay Shining, that's Zakayo.
Mission failed. We'll get them next time.
Like I said with the Night Crew, this episode where we'll be touching on that touchy, really touchy topic.
Yeah.
Racism. Y'all already know. One of them tough topics. So if you don't have a strong stomach, I'll leave this one alone. Giving y'all a fair warning.
So we only have a couple questions this time, but they're probably going to require a lot of discussion, so that's why it's kept a little shorter. So number one, do you feel like the police department is right in how they treat minorities?
Yes. Hot take.
So why you say yes?
I can't even keep it together. I was just saying yes so I can see what you would say, Carlton, honestly.
This is about to be the shortest episode.
Oh God. Carlton's face.
Out of me, man.
Oh God.
I don't even think it's just one. I don't even think it's the minorities because I watched the video yesterday.
Yeah.
Like this dude was following behind two police cars on the interstate, and like one of them, I think he accidentally was trying to get in the turning lane or something. Next thing you know, the police officer pulled him over. Next thing you know, he just like snatched the door open and threatened to kill the dude.
Wow.
Whoa.
And this was a white guy, and I'm like, damn.
Wow.
And you can tell like the white guy was really genuine, scared and stuff because you could hear it in his voice and stuff.
Yeah.
And they was just sitting there recording. He was like, "I'm gonna kill you next time you do that to me," and I'm like,
That's insane.
"Yeah, I think it's getting worse out there when you're dealing with the police department if you're not careful."
I'd agree with that. Oh, let me see.
Especially when they're dealing with the I'm trying to think of the word. The special needs people.
Oh, okay.
Cause like it's a lot of videos been coming up with them dealing with them.
Yeah. And
like just wrong.
I mean, obviously, I'm gonna go off and just say, nah, they don't. They're not right, and because it's just like you're saying, it's just getting worse. And I don't know. It makes you feel a kind of way whenever you see them. Like I know. I think it was just yesterday. My dad was saying like he was talking about one of these guys he works with, and he was like basically getting his truck like souped up and everything like that, like tinted windows and all that stuff, neon lights underneath the truck and everything. And my dad was just like, well, you can do that because you're white, so you're not going to get pulled over immediately because of all that stuff. Whereas if he had that, they'd be like, okay, yeah, no, he's doing too much. And then he get pulled over and they automatically think something about him.
Yep. Like, sir, I'm gonna need you to step out the car.
Yep.
Do you have any drugs or weapons in there? Sure you do.
Yep. And that's exactly what would happen.
Beyond me.
So yeah, it's just crazy.
I personally think I think it's extremely situational. Because they go through so many different things and they have to deal with so many different types of people, and to a certain extent I feel like they're trained to think that everybody is essentially the same. Everybody that they come into, like everybody they come in contact with, like, you know, they have to hold them under the same light. It is like, to a certain extent, if I'm stopping you or dealing anything with you, you're a criminal. And we get too distracted with that and just start to think that everybody that they deal with is the scum of the earth, which is kind of stupid.
Yeah.
Because then it puts them in a position to where, like, you know, innocent people end up in really, really not, I won't say innocent because you probably got stopped by the cops. More likely, idealistically, if you're getting stopped by the cops, it would be under the presumption that you've done something to warrant being stopped by them. So in the event that, like, all of those things they're coming into account, you messed up, but you're like, I don't need to die over a speeding ticket. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I don't need to be like see those lights come on behind me and think I might die. That should be the opposite. I should be able to reflect on whatever it was that I did to get them to stop me, not like, I hope I make it out of this situation with the best outcome.
Exactly.
So I don't think that every single one of the individuals that like, you know, puts on the badge and whatnot and straps in and goes up into the work is a terrible person. Because, like, you know, I've been stopped a few times before, not gonna act like I haven't, and all of my interactions have never been like, as, I guess I want to say, radical as some of the ones that I've seen, but at the same time, I won't say that it's not bad out there, and that they're like some people just doing some really like they're going over the top.
Yeah.
I believe that they need. I believe they need more training. I like more in-depth, like, psychological training to know exactly what they're going into, to ensure that most of these situations are handled in the best way possible. Because I don't feel like most of them aren't. I feel like we have people that we've trained generally to do this job that don't necessarily know exactly what they're going to get into, and then get themselves put in a position to where they're like acting on a fight or flight response that ultimately ends up somebody getting killed when it doesn't necessarily have needed to happen.
Yeah.
Like if we can train like a bunch of like soldiers to be able to use killing somebody as the ultimate last resort, I'm pretty sure the people that we have here protecting us should be able to do the same just as easily, if not more so, because they're in. I would believe that somebody in a war zone would be a little bit more on the edge, knowing that, like, you know, I might go out to, like, you know, do a normal patrol and I might not come back, versus somebody that's, like, you know, patrolling a neighborhood that they already have a bias over because they don't actually know the people that reside in the neighborhood. They're just like, you know, sanctioned a specific neighborhood that they now have to police when they don't know, like, you know, the people. That's just how I feel about it.
Yeah, no, I think you were hitting that on the nail, because what you were saying made complete sense. I'm trying to remember. It was back at the old store, because I had a longer drive to get from there to home, and it was one time I was on my way back home, and this police officer was behind me, but then he kind of strayed off to the side and got beside me a little bit, went up, and then slowed down after he got like a little close to the side. So then he got behind me again, and then he pulled me over. And so what it was for, and I will never understand, I got pulled over because my the light for my license plate was just a little dimmer than usual, I guess. I don't know. And I was like, do people actually get pulled over for that? And I just asked that like ever since that happened.
Honestly, that's a first for me.
Yeah, I've never heard that before.
Typically, most of my cars haven't had lights right there, so I'm surprised I haven't been pulled over.
Yeah. So yeah, that's one of the experiences I had with that, and I was just like, okay, I mean, I didn't get like a ticket or anything. Luckily, I just got a warning, but it was just like
That's a waste of time, is what that
yeah,
is.
it was just a waste of time. And then that pressure of just feeling that happening is just like, okay, what's going to happen to me right now?
Yeah. Honestly, I wish I had the ability to be so nonchalant when getting pulled over by the cops.
Yeah.
That would be a blessing. To just be like, oh, okay, I'm just getting stopped by the cops. Just be like casually, oh yeah, what's up, officers?
He,
Everything okay? I'm like, what are you pulling me over for?
yeah.
Instead of like literally like freezing up because you like, and especially nowadays, everything is like on social media, so there's nothing that almost really isn't getting seen. I don't want to be. Nobody wants to be that next thing that people have to see on social media.
Yeah.
I don't want to flick on the social media one day and see that you or Carlton like ended up in a situation like that, and me knowing that neither of y'all are like criminals. That like something like that would happen. It's like it's just wild.
Yeah.
And then the fact that people are especially with this whole case with this guy that we all had the ability of remembering. A lot of people were saying, well, he wasn't a hero. I didn't remember the last time you had to be a hero just to for your life to be like genuinely valued and not like I don't know, man. That's it's so much to take in. Like it's a lot to really think about.
Yeah.
That's all I got on that one.
Okay. You got anything else, Carlton?
I ain't got nothing to say on that one.
Okay. I'm going to go ahead and move us to question 2. This numbering is going to throw me off, so I'm going to eventually say the wrong number.
Excuse me.
What's your feeling on the George Floyd trial?
I'm surprised there even needs to be one.
Yeah.
Honestly, the structure of a lot of the things that go on in America just surprises me at this point, because so many times before they were like, all right, just comply. All right. People started to comply. Don't be rude. People started being rude. Just do whatever they say. You can cross off all of these things and then still end up in the same position. As it doesn't make any sense. Like you're not fighting back. You're complying. You're not like threatening anybody. You don't have a weapon or anything. You're already detained. Why? What is the reason for you to sit on somebody's neck?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that just doesn't make sense to me. And it was like, if I tied somebody up, what do I need to put my knee on the back of their neck for? They're already tied up. What are they really going to do?
Yeah.
And the fact that like we have like so many of these different, not even just George Floyd's case, like so many of these things are like, we have video proof of it not even being that deep. Like, pardon me for the colloquialism, but like literally it was not even that deep. I could like, don't get me wrong, I could understand if he was like, legitimately threatening their life, like fighting back, being all aggressive and all of this and that, and then something like that, it's possible, it's bound to happen. It's part of like, what you're getting yourself into, dealing with a situation like that with people that are armed, that have things that can kill you. So when you put yourself in a position like that, you have to be aware of the possibility of you like possibly losing your life. But when you're complying and doing everything that everybody's telling you to do, and then you still end up doing it, it's like, what are you supposed to do? Is like, I'm about to turn 24 in just a few days, and one thing that always burdens me is like, sooner or later I do plan on having some kids of my own. Like, if in the event that I have a son, what am I supposed to tell him when I don't even know the answer to make sure that he stays alive in a situation like that?
Yeah.
And that seems like that's becoming one of them topics you gotta have with your kids now.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
Because that's not the first time I done heard somebody say that they had to have that conversation with their child, and it was a difficult conversation.
Yeah, and what makes it worse is you don't even know what you can tell them. Like, so you have to like destroy all, like, if they're like I don't even want to say intelligent enough, but if they've got to they're like, if they got a grasp of what you're saying, and just thinking about how like to a certain extent pointless it is to try, because all of these different things is like, you can just be living your life, sitting on your couch, eating some ice cream, and then you get ran up on and then shot and murdered. And then you could just be laying in your bed asleep, and then they just bust in and then just start like, how you can't even let them know that they can live like, a normal life. And of course, like, some of these things are circumstantial to a certain extent, as far as like, it doesn't happen to everybody, but the fact that it happens is scary enough, because it's something that you have to warn people about. It's like you can't do anything and not be scared of doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
Like, I shouldn't have to like have a conversation with my kids at a certain point and be like, if you go into the store, make sure you buy something and come out with a receipt. That shouldn't have to be a conversation I should have to have. Shouldn't have to make them feel like whatever they're wearing is like, could be like, don't wear a hoodie. Because somebody could think that you have something in your pockets if your hands are in your pockets. Like, that doesn't make any sense. And the fact that so many, there's a lot of mass shootings that go on inside of the United States, and for the ones that don't end up taking their own lives, the fact that they're detained alive is baffling. I'm talking about people going into places like they're playing Call of Duty and they come out alive, versus people at traffic stops. Like, what am I supposed to, like, how, like, that's too much to worry about. It's like, that's way too much to stress about for somebody that's my age to worry about, like, some, like, can I live my life and just live it normally without possibly thinking that it's going to be taken for some random stuff.
Yeah.
And then I worry about my friends and stuff, because, like, they could be in the same situation too. And like, well, it's like, you can't win for losing. It's like, we can't even just live normally.
Yeah, I get where you're coming from, because it always I wouldn't say it makes me feel bad, but it always makes me think in the back of my head, whenever my mom, because whenever I'm going out or something like that, she always has a tendency just to worry a little bit. But I mean, at the same time, it's for good reason, because there's a chance that I won't come back. And I'm always, whenever that goes on, I'm just thinking in the back of my head, like, why does this even have to be something to worry about?
Right. Like, this is, like, don't get me wrong, because, like, anytime somebody says, like, it's like, this isn't the greatest country, blah, 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 it's the best country in the world, blah, blah, like this. this is a place that has an extreme amount of opportunity based off of the all of the things that people to a certain extent have at their disposal. However, this place is extremely systematic, and you have to understand how that system works to be able to benefit from it. With that being said, there's too many problems that like we have that make us look like a third world country when we're not. It's like we shouldn't have like certain like we shouldn't have half of the situations go on here.
Yeah.
Like for this to be such a great place, why are kids shooting up schools? Like honestly, like why are kids shooting up schools in the United States? If this is like if it's so perfect of a place, why is that happening? If schools are supposed to be such a safe space and place for kids to feel safe, why is it that it happens so many times that high schoolers now have like active shooter drills?
Damn. I didn't know that one.
Yeah, like they have active shooter drills. Like why would I want to like, especially whenever I do end up having kids, why would I want to send them to a place to where they would have to worry about something like that? Why would I want to put myself in a position to send my kids somewhere where I have to feel like, because of how they structure school and how it operates, that some kid might get bullied and my kid might end up being caught in the crossfire?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Honestly true.
Like we have like high suicide rates, like high homicide, like all of this different shit, but this is the greatest place to be. Don't get me wrong, I'm not like saying like I want to go anywhere else because like, you know, I understand how this place looks. I mean, no, let me put it like this. I understand how the world works to a certain extent based off of like, you know, the information that I've been able to gather over my years of being alive. And like it would be hard to go anywhere else after being here for so long and being used to some of the things that go on here. Personally, if I could, I would seek residency or citizenship in somewhere like Denmark because what was it? I was looking at something the other day and it was saying that Denmark's casualty rate just dealing with the police was under 100 in the last 10 years.
Wow.
Just let that sink in. I'm not 100% true I don't know exactly how true that specifically is because like, you know, different resources tell different things. But as far as from what the information that I've gathered, that is appalling.
Yeah.
That you can have a place, and of course, like, you know, it's much smaller than it is here, and governing a much smaller place would be a lot easier than that of the United States, where we have state and federal laws that make things just so much more confusing for the citizens to just live here, because it's ever changing and ever evolving, so you never really know exactly what some of these things are. And it makes it difficult for you to be able to a certain extent, I won't say like exist here, because you live in South Carolina, so you have federal laws, and then you have the state laws that South Carolina follows. Like, you know, you don't have to have a permit to be like the owner of a weapon. But in other states, you do. You have to have all of what is it called? I think it's your concealed carry permit or license, one of those two, to be able to own it and whatnot. But while like in some states you don't, it's real. It's just so convoluted here.
Yeah.
So many things contradict things. One thing that does get on my nerves, though, is how people want to tell people how they're supposed to feel on something that they haven't gone through. Like, don't get me wrong, you're entitled to your perspective, but you can't tell me what my perspective is because you haven't gone through it.
True.
It's like telling a black person, I was like, oh no, I was like, this doesn't exist, and this doesn't happen when you have no idea what the receiving end looks like from their perspective. Like, I love how we can all agree that, like, rape is wrong, and that, like, nobody should be raping people, and that everybody, like, coddles the feelings of those that either have been sexually harassed or stuff like that. But then when it comes to, like, a racial thing, we just throw that all out the window. And it's like, no, that doesn't happen. That doesn't happen anymore. That ended like so many years ago.
You got anything, Carlton?
No, I'm good, Zach.
Yeah, Zach actually really did say like everything for that one.
Did I really?
Yeah. Oh yeah. There's literally nothing else I can say with that.
My bad.
You're good.
No, you good.
This one's just touchy. Like, honestly, this is a touchy subject.
Yeah.
It's like
Well, we can keep.
There's so much going on with it.
Oh, my bad. Go ahead.
No, go.
Good on that one.
Okay.
I kind of want to know what the next question is personally.
Okay. Number 3. What do Black Lives mean to you?
That's a weird question. Like, I that's like, are we talking about that movement or?
Yeah, the movement.
Oh, okay.
I mean, personally, I believe it means exactly what it said. Like Nene said, I said what I said, that they matter. If they did matter, there would be no reason for people to be saying it. It's because, like, people are like tired of, like, to a certain extent, shucking and jiving and just going along with it. Like, they're like, okay, this has to stop. This isn't okay. This isn't good. And then people are like, well, like, all lives matter. And I was like, well, if that were the case, then there would be no reason for people to be saying that Black lives indeed do matter.
True.
And it's not to say that other lives don't matter. It's just that at the moment, right now, because of, like, people getting tired of these certain things going on and nothing, like, being done to rectify it, people are saying, okay, this needs to get fixed. This needs to get rectified. This is not something that's supposed to be happening. So we need to stand up so we can make sure that this no longer happens. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's concerning that people are so content with letting these structures and like police and everything do certain things because they feel like it's okay. It's not okay. They should police. Yes, I definitely do believe that there should be something to police the state and whatnot. However, once you start to abuse that power and misuse it and mistreat those that you're supposed to be serving and protecting, that's when that needs to get rectified. And that's not just something that gets put specifically over Black lives. That's for all lives. I don't believe that anybody should experience something like that, like police brutality, because it doesn't just happen to Black people. And for anybody that thinks that that's what Black Lives Matter is saying, that's not. They're saying that because I'm Black and I see that this is not supposed to be happening, I'm saying that it's not supposed to be happening. I'm not saying that it only happens to this group of people, which I fall under, just that I no longer want this to happen to my people. And that's not anything bad. It's like, that's, like, to a certain extent, protecting your brand. Like, you're gonna do what's necessary to uphold and your brand if you have one. Like, there's no reason for you to kill your own brand or just let it get killed off when it doesn't need to. Like, just because somebody's standing up for his injustices doesn't mean that it's only happening to one type of thing. And of course, you have your radicals which say dumb and do dumb shit and like that. So like I can understand where there's a lot of a misconception of like, like specifically like, with the riots and everything. Personally, I'm not an advocate of violence. I don't condone it in any way because violence begets violence, and then it becomes like an ever revolving thing that never ends because then it's just like, oh, you did this, now I'm gonna do this. Now you did this, so now I'm gonna do this, and then it just never ends. It's just a repeating cycle. However, if you go into the wild and you poke a hibernating bear and you poke that thing enough until it wakes up, don't be mad at its outcome. That's all I can say about that. Is like, I'm not saying that you should have got mauled by a bear, but if you put yourself in the position to get mauled by a bear, you have to face the consequences of your actions. We can't be out here just letting people do whatever and not like suffering the consequences of their actions. It's like, you need to be held accountable. Like with taking it all the way back to back when they put Bay down because a kid somehow ended up in his domain. How is this kid ending up in this enclosure? Like Harambe didn't climb the enclosure and get him. He ended up in there. If that happens, and if something bad had happened to that kid, why was he in a position for that to happen in the first place?
Yeah.
But that's a whole totally different point. But I'm tired of these turn the other cheek people because it doesn't do anything but just push us back further. Black people are far too forgiving for things that they shouldn't be forgiving about. When that dude, I can't remember his name at the moment, the dude that died in his own apartment getting shot by the cop. Personally, if that would have happened to my brother, there would have been no forgiving. I don't see, that's not something that I'm gonna do. You took something from me that I cannot get back, and I'm not gonna sit here and let you play some pity card. You're supposed to be the person that is serving and protecting. I'm holding you to a much higher standard, and this is the type of actions that you do. I can't let you off the hook. You need this, like,
had one job.
Yeah, you had one job. Like don't get me wrong. If you made that mistake, that doesn't mean that you need to shoot somebody. There's plenty of routes that could have gone down. That could have been something that could have been talked out. I don't care how tired you are. It's like if a person working in retail, some 16-year-old is held to a higher standard as to how they're supposed to be treating and talking to somebody than somebody that's supposed to be serving and protecting. I feel like that is an issue. How is it that somebody you're going to get mad and cuss out a manager of a 16-year-old at a fast food establishment, but you'll be like, okay, it is what it is when a cop just flies all the way off the handle and does the most, and it is goes above and beyond and ends up taking somebody's life. It is what it is. Oh, they're not a hero, so it doesn't matter. We didn't lose anything in the world. Like, yeah, it just sounds so dumb.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, like you were saying, like early on, like I never really understood the point of the all lives matter thing, because it's just like, it's obvious all lives do matter, but it's just like that. The whole point isn't saying that Black lives are the only ones that do matter. It's just saying like they like. I'm trying to put it in a way that won't make everything go like, oh boy, no, he's talking about like this is supposed to matter more, because that's another thing. You have to be careful with how you say things, because then it starts all a bunch of craziness. For all lives to matter, Black lives have to matter as well. That's how I'll say it.
Yes.
So yeah, that's what I had to say on that one.
Which is true.
Yeah.
If they did, then they would. But since they don't, that's why people are saying it.
Yeah, that's what you said. Yeah, you said if all lives did matter, then we wouldn't be in this situation.
Yeah. there would be no reason for that to be said, and people would just be like, yeah, you're right, all lives matter. Like, why are you saying this? Like, then it would seem like it's like, singling out a specific group when it doesn't need to.
Yeah.
But however, that's not the case. That ain't what happening.
Nope.
People are gonna say that. People are gonna make sure that it's known that is 100% what needs to be known. Because it doesn't seem like it does.
Yeah. You get anything, Carlton?
Oh, no, I'm good. I'm good. Zach said a lot. We open up the floodgates.
Yeah,
on this
yeah. This is Zach's shining moment.
Especially for the ladies, too.
Number
All right.
4. Who is your favorite revolutionary?
What do you mean?
Carlton, what did you mean?
Yeah.
Like, Pop was one. Huey P was one. Fred Hammond was one. Malcolm. What's my man name? I can't even think. I can't think of her. I can't think of his name. I can't think of her name right now. But who was like somebody who basically led the fight? You know, I would say Pop, but I'm not gonna say him. Pop just Pop would just led the fire. But there was people
Yeah, I get that.
him. And then you also had Nipsey.
Oh, I did like Nipsey. I like Nipsey. That's a hard one for me because
Right.
I like a bunch of different things about some of them.
Yeah.
Because like you can take a lot from all of them because they all did things in their own way.
Yeah. And then I feel like there's some that still will never get the credit for it.
True. See, what I'm gonna say for that one, I'm not gonna pick a favorite because, everyone had involvement, and that's in my eyes that's the bigger picture, and I just can't pick a favorite just because there was more there wasn't just one thing that one impact that I'll choose that to go over the others. I don't know how to put that.
I get where you come from.
Yeah, I just won't pick one because I feel like for me all of the involvement matters. I just can't choose one out of all of it.
I would say that I feel the same way. It's like there was a lot of involvement from a bunch of different people that ultimately makes it what it is.
Yeah. What about you, Carlton? You named a couple. Do you got one that you want to pick specifically, or?
I'm gonna be honest with you. It's some that I don't even know their name. Cause this is one guy. I seen his documentary. Like, he would open up for Dr. King, but it was the way how he delivered his message. But he didn't last too long.
Oh, okay.
I don't even think they never found his body.
Wow.
And then there was this white woman from Detroit. She wasn't one, but like she had a very strong involvement in it. So I guess that's one of them questions where we're like, everybody it was like putting a jigsaw puzzle together. Everybody put something to it.
Yeah.
Cause even you think about it, I think we even had to put Emmett Till up in there.
Okay.
Cause like, his death was, maybe one of the few eye openers. As even the story. If you listen to the story of Rosa Parks, she wasn't the first one that sat on that bus. You see what I'm saying? It was another woman from the type of churches she was with, and I think it was like maybe like I want to say like a couple miles from her hometown. And then then you gotta go back to the 4 black girls that got killed. They got killed in the bombings of Church of Selma. So I think you already just know the answer. It's too much, and it shows that it just shows you how they are trying to hide a lot of it, or they're really trying to hide a lot of it.
Yeah.
You know,
Yes, I do.
I think sometimes we look at like I think sometimes we look at the Black Panther as some of it, but then we think if we just sit here and think about it, it's more. It's like it goes down to Sam Cooks, James Brown, Ray Charles, because they even had some involvement of it. You know, because sometimes the music just spoke to us, especially with some James Brown music.
Yeah.
So I'm stuck on that one too.
I think we're all going on the same way on that one. There's just too much involvement just to pick one as a favorite.
Yeah, because I think at one time, even in the 60s and 70s, it was more I think you get to a point of it, you're just like watch some of the footage of people getting attacked by them German Shepherds and dogs. People just actually just standing up for themselves.
Yeah.
You know, they might die that night, but they stood up for something.
Yeah.
You know, they didn't ride the bus for something. They said that them counters about something. They might not have a pistol in their hand or a shotgun, but they had something in their heart.
And that's all that matters.
Yeah. I agree.
Understanding that, like sometimes your calling is to be a martyr for a bigger thing.
Mm-hmm.
I think we can go on to the next one.
Moving on, okay. Let's see. Number 5. How did you feel when you first found out you were black?
That was tough, bro.
If we're talking like initial, like when I first found out, I mean, honestly, I was just like, okay, because I mean, I was young. I didn't really understand that much then. I just went with the flow.
Honestly, that one's tough. That one's tough.
Yeah.
I will have to say, probably around the 6th grade. That was when the culture shock hit me.
Okay.
Because I was born and to a certain extent raised in Asheville, North Carolina. So the there was a huge difference in the dynamic. I was around a lot more. The best way I can say it is stereotypical black people, and it really showed me just how well, that's why I when he said it's when did you find out that you were different? I was like, that's probably around the same time, because it made me know that I don't fit in either place. So I'm just out here because thankfully, both my mom and my brother had bestowed upon me and my sister as well good I want to say music listening skills, because we have an open mind and to to all types of different music as long as it sounds good. Because all music is good music. It might not necessarily be for me, but it doesn't mean that, like, what somebody puts out is bad, because ultimately, like, that's their art. And it was kind of disrespectful to like step on that, but like when you come from like a community where you're not like shunned. No, I don't even want to say shunned, but like more like slandered because you don't like listen to like hip hop. Like you're not listening to Lil Wayne back in the early days. Like you're like, cause like when I was younger, it took me a while to get into like like especially like more mainstream hip hop. Like so like my early years was mainly gospel because of my mom, and then my brother had put me and my sister onto rock, progressive, metal, and everything that falls like around that way, reggae, all of that stuff. So like rap wasn't really necessarily like the main thing that I went down. So like when I come into the 6th grade and I've got 3 Days Grace playing, it's like somebody like asked me what I'm listening to, and like I let them get it here, and it's like, oh, you listen to that white people music, and I'm like, what the fuck are you even talking about? Like it's just music. And like to have to hear that and like so often to where probably by like the 7th grade, like you weren't listening to my music. I don't care like how cool we were. Like you're not like, if I'm listening to it, I'm listening to it because like I don't need you disrespecting what I like, because like you have you're closed-minded. And especially when it comes to music, I don't really like when people are like closed-minded. Like I at least want you to give it a try and like not listen to it with a bias. Because if you can do that, you might find out that you like something that you didn't necessarily think that you were going to like. What was it?
I'm sorry if you hear my dog.
Okay, so back when Kendrick Lamar dropped his the whole album where he had Humble on, and I think it was Damn. I think that's what that was. There was this alternative group or rock, I guess it was rock, and they did a cover of it. And of course me, because like I play like I grew up playing like the drums and everything. Anything that comes like with drums is like a natural instrument in the music to where like I can pick it apart. I like it, especially like if it has a good, like if it's, I guess I want to say intricate, like, and it's like challenging, like something like if I wanted to play it, like I would have to like genuinely try and like listen to it a bunch of times. And one of my friends, he was like, that was disrespectful. They didn't need to ruin the song like that. I was like, no, they didn't ruin it. Like they actually did that song extreme justice. No, don't get me wrong. I'm not going to say that it was better than its original counterpart. However, with what they did, speaking from a position of somebody that like listens to this type of music frequently, I can tell you that what they did was actually really, really good. Like because like there's, don't get me wrong, not everybody can get metal is not for everybody. However, I like when artists are able to do what they do best, and that to a certain extent is like making music. They are literally making art, and they're taking something from what it used to be and making it into something completely new, and not stepping on what it used to be. Because I don't even they could have did their cover, and they could have just went way left with it. And I'm like, this is not garbage. This is like absolutely terrible. This is trash. And I would be able to admit but like I can really appreciate when people like actually like take a second to listen to something without being biased to it and thinking that it takes a certain like skin tone for you to be able to listen to it. Like, I can't listen to everything by everybody a whole bunch, but I can tell you, like, I could probably listen to John Mayer and 90% of his catalog on repeat, and I would be completely fine. But that's all I got to say. I'm gonna let y'all say something.
Oh, I think, yeah, I already said mine. I mean, that's how honestly my mindset was. I mean, I used to just be like the go with the flow. I didn't really, and I kind of hate to say it, but at the same time, I mean, I was just like, okay. And then that was really how I went about it. It didn't hit me like it did like later on when I really started to take it all in, and I'm just like, oh, okay. So yeah, it was really just simple for me when I first found out.
Dang.
Wait, I like I said,
You feel like you tried out like 3 or 4 times.
no.
You feel like you tried out a couple times. Like, damn.
No. Okay, I'm not gonna lie. It did sound like that. I'm not gonna.
Like you found out like a couple times.
It didn't process the first time. I'll say that. That's what I'll say. I was too simple for it.
And that's what sucks. Like, to have to come to the realization is like, you know,
Yeah.
I'm black. Fuck. It's like, man, that's great.
What about you, Carlton?
Wow.
What's your story?
I don't know. It wasn't like, I think I was like maybe in the kindergarten.
Dang, bro. You had to learn that at an early age, man.
Good God.
It wasn't a bad story where it was just my house nigga. It was my house nigga days. So it was me and this girl.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wait.
Yeah.
You say,
Yes.
wow, okay.
And like, well, we should have been doing stuff we shouldn't have been doing. So we just leave it like that. And they kept separating us, and we kept getting back together.
Yeah, I'm not gonna ask any further questions.
Yeah.
They know what he's talking about.
And then when I found out I was, I'm gonna go ahead and tell you the day when I found out I was a nigga. So this was like my middle school. This was my middle school year. And like I came from Travis, so like I kind of like didn't have like the best, like everybody in certain neighborhoods was your cousins and stuff like that. And then like just certain stuff, but even just going down to music, like was basically what Zach says, like, cause like I grew up watching Beavis and Buttheads, so I knew who like Green Day was, Red Hot Chili Peppers was.
Yes, sir.
Just different stuff like that. What's my man name? I can't think of his name right now. Save my life. And then like I don't know, we moved to this neighborhood that's no longer in Greenville, and wasn't the best neighborhood. It taught me how to be a survivor. So like they would mess with you when you was different. And I learned a lot from there. I learned a lot out of that neighborhood. I learned a lot. One dude said one thing to me, like, you ain't nothing but a nigga.
Ooh.
And that always stuck with me. I think it was just like a lot of negativity. Like you learned about drugs, prostitution, guns. Just a lot. Just a lot. But I see it as black people, we really are tough on each other.
I can see that.
They don't want you to be different. They don't want you to be different. They don't want you to be different.
Yeah.
Not at all.
That's okay. That sounded too close to an actual sound effect. that pop. I really thought I was like in the middle of an editing session. I just put that in there. What? Alright, do we got any more for that one, or are we good to move on?
I'm good on that one.
Oh, this is gonna be disappointing on the answer for me. Number 6. How do you feel about the Honorable Elijah Muhammad?
I'm gonna just let Carlton do this one. I'm gonna take a brief intermission because I've said too much.
Go ahead, Carlton.
Wow.
Go off.
Wow.
Well, considering what I said before I read the question, you can already tell what it's going to be disappointing for me.
Oh.
So you have to go off in my
he
place.
he just taught us a generation of do for self. And like really just do for self. And like with health wise, because he wrote several books. But then you find out later on in life, he's really not the original creator. He's part creator of the Nation of Islam. And but like it's probably one of the most decorative black organization there is. You know, they don't have too much violence. So that's also a plus, because with some of the other black organizations, it's always with violence. For some reason, I just don't understand why we always had to be portrayed as violent people.
Yeah.
Because even with his organization, the only bad thing they can ever say was the assassination of Malcolm X. Then later on find out it's really not assassination of Malcolm X. Somebody just in the organization took the hit. Took the money. And he was a member. But with him, with the Honorable, I think he teaches something that we really need to practice on. You know, because like there's some, like, I don't know how true it is, but they said he like read 300 books in a matter of 3 years. So that's how much of knowledge himself he knew, and how powerful of a mind he had. But then you always get the scandals and stuff. So I'm gonna just leave the scandals alone. And I'm leaving them alone. I'm leaving the scandals alone, because like the year when all his scandals and stuff was around, it wasn't the best year for black. It wasn't like a strong year for us. But you know, when in the organization, you always gonna have scandals.
True.
And that's just that's it for that.
Okay.
I can tell you, I ain't never read How to Eat. Volume 1, Volume 2.
I'm gonna be honest with you.
The Messenger to the Black Son. The messenger. The message to the black man.
I'm gonna be honest with you.
Don't worry about
it. You can really look at me until I have it. Unfortunately.
Nah, I got the book last week.
Oh, okay.
I just got the book back, but I do research and stuff like that. I have read How to Eat. I just gotta get the second one and some of his other books.
Okay. Final question, number 7. What are your thoughts on segregation? All right, I'm gonna go first on this one, and I don't think mine will honestly be that long. In a simple statement, is 1, it's not right, obviously. 2, there's honestly no reason for that, because it doesn't make any sense. And Honestly, that might be what I have to say on it because there's no reason for that. There's no way. I find it. I don't find it hard to believe because it actually happened, but there's just part of me that's just like, why was that actually even a thing in the past? Like, what was actually so wrong with people to actually enforce that kind of thing to happen?
Because there was still that uh mindset of inferiority.
Yeah.
Um, and then like honestly, this just my hot take on it. The only reason why I feel like it actually got switched to where it was like, not no longer segregated is because they saw that we don't need them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That despite us having to be in a position to where we have to survive, we'll survive. We'll do what's necessary to get what we need taken care of, and not necessarily be in a bad spot. It's like, it's like we had our own Wall Street and everything that got shut down and whatnot. We had all sorts of different things that got shut down because they were positive for Black people. Which is why it's so hard for a lot of Black-owned businesses today to get up and running, is because so many people have got into the mindset that we need everybody else when we don't.
Yeah.
That's why I envy those of the Asian descent, because they all working together to a certain extent. They understand it's like, if we all do we all do this and to a certain extent keep it within us, we'll be all right, because we need to watch out for ourselves. I think we'd be a lot better if Black people got out of the competition mindset.
Yeah.
What about you, Carlton?
I mean, I agree with both of y'all, because I was watching this dude, and he was talking about the HBU colleges, and he was like, they used to play against the white colleges, and they would blow the white colleges out. So next thing you know, the white colleges started going around picking up Black players and stuff like that.
Yep.
And that's how some of the HBUs, they lost a lot of their fundings because they didn't have the football team or the basketball team. And I just like what Zach said. As us, they had so much. If you go to 1927 Oklahoma, the Oklahoma bombing, and do your research on that one, you'll find something wow, it just really with segregation, it was something terrible. And then I think then even with the situation with the little girl, I want to say in Arkansas or Memphis in 1960, where the National Guards had to walk her to school. And because they would try to kill this little girl. She was no more than 6 to 9 years old.
Wow.
And then people would withdraw the kids from school, and just segregation wasn't also the best either. It was just something that was something horrible.
Yeah.
Something horrible. Because if you watch just watch some of these documentaries, when some of these little white kids actually had Black friends, and then they would tell describe stories how they might stay in the same neighborhood but to stay on two different streets, But then like the black kid might come to like the other side just to play with the little boy or something, and then like the whole neighborhood will come out there and harass him and stuff like that. And then like it's like damn, is it really that bad?
Yeah.
Envy is a powerful thing.
Mm-hmm.
I just hate it because it's essentially just going out your way to make someone feel different.
Mm-hmm.
For no reason. So they're not trying to be different. They just happen to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, just to really think about what some of your grandparents actually had to go through.
Right.
Because even
When talk about how long ago it was, I was like, bro, that's really not that long. I could talk to somebody.
56 years. 56 years. Just think about it. Like Chris Rock tells this story, you know, because he's from South Carolina, right? And he said before he moved to New York, he said his mom had her teeth pulled, and she went to a veterinary.
Mm-hmm.
It was like blacks couldn't go to the dentist and stuff, so they had to go to like the veterinary or something like that. And then like with it's this other story. I can't think about who said it. They was like, how good was it back then if you were sitting at the dinner table and the police officers just come there and just take everything off your table and kick you out the house and you really couldn't do nothing.
Mm-hmm.
This was like 1950, 1920. Like some of this stuff is under 60 years old. Like if you watch what's that Selma and just realize how long that was ago. Cause this past Sunday was like the anniversary, 56 years, and the dude John, I can't think of his name, who passed away last year.
What?
Like his name was John. I can't think of his last name. He was a civil rights movement.
Okay.
Like if you watch the movie Selma and ask what they went through, and just think about it. This happened 56 years ago. It was called Bloody Sunday. Just think about what when Dr. King and them was really marching and stuff. And you had to be really super secret because like somebody was always working for the police department to every move. Next thing you know, your car set on fire. You might lose your job. Your mom might lose her house. Just because she was trying to do something right.
Yeah.
History, they really don't tell you what history really is about. Like even with their history ain't even too great. Their history ain't too great. I don't think history is just like this big thing they want you to think it's like it's this beautiful thing.
It's really not.
Because I think it's just this thing with so many holes in it. It goes down to every race of people. It's a hole. It's a hole, and it's a lie behind something. It's a lot of lies. It really is. It's a lot of lies in some of this stuff. And some people will never wake up to understand how powerful they really are. Most people don't know their worth. Most people will settle for something that's not even them. Think about it. Your people went through so much for you just to say you're not gonna fuck with them.
Right?
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? I know we might not see eye to eye on a lot of stuff, but like, just think about it. These people really suffered for we can just be ungrateful. Like, when y'all probably got a family member in y'all tree that probably died in like 1940 was hung. or you might have an uncle or aunt or a cousin that's somewhere in one of these shallow graves in one of these southern states. They never been found. They just they and your family, they just said they just disappeared. They never came back. They ain't in no Chicago. They ain't in no New York. They somewhere in one of these southern graves. Cause there's a lot of them. It's a lot of them. Because like it's a story about this black girl. She went looking for like her great grandma's son. Come find out, she found about 50 more graves. Unknown graves. Don't even know who went there. And then when she came find out, next thing you know, they was the city was trying to ban them from the place. What they really hiding from you. Like I heard the story about New York. This woman, it was like off a TV. It was off a movie. It was based on a true story. This girl mom was a dope fiend, and she died. And they put her in a box with all the other homeless people, and just buried them. And everybody was like a John Doe or Jane Doe.
Wow.
Just think about how many people actually don't know where their family members are. Don't make me get started on the ocean.
What's that?
Because them slave ships has a lot of them slave ships also has a lot of bad stories too. It's the reason why them sharks was actually following the slave ship for a free meal.
Really?
Mm-hmm. You ain't never seen Amistad? Yes, like with the Amistad story, it's like basically.
Yeah, no, I haven't seen that. I had to think about what you were talking about for a second. It sounded familiar. I know what you're talking about, but no.
Yeah, but just think about it. How many people actually don't know where their family members are? And then you also got to think about it. How great your history really is. Because it don't start on a slave ship. Well, the average black people think it starts on a slave ship. It don't. Your people been here longer than they want you to know. Because people get offended. And then just think about it. Every time a black celebrity go to Africa, their mind frame changes. Richard Pryor, Mary, Kurt Franklin. It's the reason he called this one of them cities losing religion. Because he learned something. Same as Malcolm. Mary. If you think about it, Mary came back with a song called God Is In You. Most people don't pay attention. And that's what people fail to realize. They was trying to tell you something. Even Richard Pryor said it. He said, when I got to Africa, he said, I seen everybody as equals. I didn't see nobody as niggas. He said the whole time he was over there, he never used that word. Same thing when Static Shock said it. When he told Richie, he was like, I actually feel I'm equal with everybody else. I'm just not another black kid. And then he said, now I see how you feel in America as being a white boy. A lot of them cartoons be holding some secrets. Y'all just never paid attention. Like when the black girl from Jimmy Neutron, when she, I think when they took her to Africa, and then next thing you know, she started wearing braids, and, locks and stuff. Your history is grand. They just don't want y'all to know it. It's grand. It's deeper than it's deeper than handcuffs. Black people was the original. I say it. We the DNA of a lot of this stuff.
That's very true.
I can get on about religion. But I'm gonna leave that one alone.
Yeah, that one was gonna get too many people riled up for no reason.
Yeah.
Because I was having actually, That's a good one right there. Religion is weird for me because, like, we weren't Christianity. That's not what like black people was doing way back then.
No, I'm gonna be honest with you. Christianity came around in the 1800s, right?
Yeah,
If if people watch the 12 years of slavery, they show you how they made black people became Christian. When they said, honorable your master, they're not talking about God or Jesus Christ. They're talking about the slave masters.
yep.
That's what people fail to realize. It's too many holes in that thing. They was telling about. That's why they was like, they wouldn't let black people read or nothing. Like, your ancestors died trying to read. Some of these motherfuckers will not read today. Won't read today. Won't try to better themselves.
But they just like it like the church has become too much of a system.
The church, I'm gonna be honest with you, the church, this is what the church is doing now today. The church is the bank. As long as they have members there, they know they finna get a paycheck. They don't care about nobody. If they actually did, they would use the money they get. A black church will put $1 billion into a white bank in a year. $1 billion. And then, so if you say if Jay Sean wanted to start a computer business, right? And he go to the white bank and ask them, they gonna deny him. Right? But if the church want to actually do something, they don't, because people would not believe them. Why do you think a lot of people are sitting there waiting on Jesus Christ to return? As black people, that's why they forgive the police department, because they're waiting for a white man to come back and save them. That's the whole deal. They're waiting on somebody to come and save them. That's not gonna come back to save them. I'm sorry. And like, I was having this conversation with this girl at Red the other day, and we was and I respect her beliefs on religion, because she said she believed God is a being, right?
A being?
I said, have you ever thought about it? God might be a woman. She said, what do you mean? I said, think about this. They always say God created life. She was like, yeah. I said, can't you have children? She was like, yeah. I said, so you're God. You create life. I can't. I can just be part of it. You carry it. You carry it. And like, if I don't think people realize, most people never use their brain.
True.
It's like you have a memory card for a PlayStation 1. What's the use of it if you're not gonna save nothing on it?
That's very true.
So what's the point of spending $34 to buy something that you're not using?
Yeah, that's a good point.
If people actually use their brain, a lot of people be a lot ahead of themselves. Like, it took me a long time to realize that. Like, the more, I think sometimes people, when I be trying to explain people like what the self-help books do to me, they look at me strange. But it gives me some kind of purpose, some kind of vision that most people don't never see. It might just be helping me sometimes I just feel like it helps me more than, it makes me think throughout my day. That's why they say reading is fundamental. And that's really true, because it makes you think throughout your day. Like, don't get me wrong, I love to listen to music all day, but like, sometimes I feel like I need a good book or a good podcast.
Okay.
Because if you don't stretch your brain out, you're not gonna get nowhere. It's like exercising. Like, how can you be strong if you don't put the work in?
That's right.
How can you get smart if you don't put the work in? Most people don't realize that. The average black person, this is how the average black person thinks. And I'm going to start from the beginning. Most black people don't realize is, like, say they had a death in the family, they will try to get up to $800 to almost $10,000 in a couple weeks. Why the hell y'all just don't pay the $50 a month? So you see how all that wasn't that hard. If you don't have, be honest with you, just think about it. If you put insurance on, like, I'm gonna tell you, that's what white America do. They will put insurance on their whole family for $1 million policy. So if you supposed to receive it, Jay trying to say if both of your parents pass away, you're a white man, both of your parents and your grandparents pass away, right? That's about $3.9 million. Now you can start your computer business. You see what I'm saying? Now just think about you, the only child, and you inherit all the family money. State Farm will give you a policy for $32 for $1 million. You just gotta have a decent health. Bam.
And that's a fact.
Black people need to stop selling their people houses. Like if you're not gonna stay into it and stay in it, put a for rent sign and put $700. It'll probably go in 2 weeks, and make them sign a 1 year lease contract. You see what I'm saying? 12 times 7, what's that?
They gonna do quick maths right quick. Oh, I thought you actually do like quick maths.
Oh, I'm not there. We'll just say that's about $60,000 a year. Just think about if you do it and you have multiple.
More than that.
You see what I'm saying? Most black people don't realize that. It's so many tools and ways of trying to do a business. Black people need to stop doing car washes, beauty salons. Now, I'm not saying nothing wrong with them. Find where the money at. Get a Starbucks. Call it something else.
Yes, sir.
Starbucks sells coffee. Let me ask you this question. What do McDonald's sell?
Burgers?
No, they don't.
Chicken nuggets?
Nope. They sell real estate. That's what the owner told a group of college kids. He said, I don't sell you burgers. I sell them real estate. They sell you burgers. Same as Chick-fil-A, they sell real estate. That's where the money's at. That's where the money's at. Think about it. One time, some of these places used to be the dominant black neighborhood from decent people.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
I'm picking up.
Now, will you remember what old boy said in Boys in the Hood? Gentrification.
It's a real deal.
Right. If white people start running in your neighborhood, your rent finna go up.
Okay.
Think about that. You see what I'm saying? Sometimes some people just don't want to wake up. That's the thing. Some people just do not want to wake up. Once you wake up and you start trying to better yourself, if it's just reading one book, some of these books is not hard. They have audios. That's what I use all the time. I know some people want to sit down and read the book. Maybe you should read the book while you're driving. Because that's a good time to listen to the book. Read a book while you're on a treadmill. Most people never use their actual whole brain. Your brain is so powerful. They say the average person uses 10% of their brain. So in your entire lifetime, you only use 10% of your brain. That's level 1. That's probably what the first stage of Crash Bandicoot on PlayStation 1. Or the first that's like the first till you get to big smoke scenes on San Andreas. Just think about how much map you're not using.
Yeah.
You're using that corner. You from your house to the jailhouse on San Andreas. That's not a lot. That's not a lot. You still got that whole big ass belt. We need to do something better.
You're right. You're right.
Because we didn't already went through the struggle. And then they still trying to keep us out the future. I'm watching the show right now. It's called The Stand. It ain't too many minorities in it. It was supposed to be like an end of the world type deal. So like 75% of the world is dead. So we'll just say 5,000 people left. 200 of them are minorities. And it's not like 20, 30, 40 Asian women. It's about 3. And then one of them has medical issues. So they can't reproduce children.
Ooh.
You see what I'm saying? So like, sometimes people need to start paying attention to television. Cause The Simpsons been right for a lot of years. Simpsons been hitting on some stuff. A lot of these TV shows, people need to just really pay attention to.
I feel that.
Because they not making plans for us. Like if you watch the King of Harvey, said this. They trying to go to the moon and leave us here. They get curious for everything out here, but people don't realize that.
Right?
It's a business. It's a business.
Yeah, if you're curing everybody, then ain't nobody gonna come back.
Thank you. Thank you.
What's the point of having like this?
It is. I get where you coming from, Z. It is. It just really is. Because a patient cure is a customer loss.
Which sucks.
Mm-hmm. Just think about how many people actually in a nursing home. And as my dad was in the one, and he told me like, they take your checks. So all they make you sign this piece of paper, so they take all your money. So when your income comes in, you're broke. And then if they do give you something, it's about $30. And you know what you gotta do with that $30? Buy soap. And who's selling the soap? They is. Buy toilet paper. They selling just like jail. It's a cash cow. Black people need to learn how to get up on that bread truck. Cause we lacking.
Yeah. Cause like but to a certain extent, like we putting ourselves back. Cause so many people are in the mindset of it being a competition instead of like, let's all just get up.
Mm-hmm.
Let's all just get where we need to get.
Yeah, but also you gotta think about it. It's a train of thought. It's what they see. They try to make you the bad guy because you the smartest. You see what I'm saying? I can explain it better as this story, but I forgot the story. It's about some monkeys and stuff. But that's all it is. They take the best. So if you Jordan and Jay LeBron, he's trying to catch up with you. So he's trying to destroy everything that you created. Because he want everybody with LeBron.
Yep.
But at the end of the day is Shaq the one that's really winning, but don't nobody see that. Cause Shaq shoes at Walmart for $10.
Oh, God.
And he got a little white kids buy his shoes.
He's not wrong.
You see what I'm saying? Black people, we chase LeBrons and Jordans, but Shaq was the one that really had to grow out of them shoes.
Shaq said, "I'm gonna go where nobody expecting."
Yes.
All right, we got anything else?
I don't got anything else but
I'm good.
I think we summed them all up.
Thank everybody for coming back to the podcast. We're going to go ahead and wrap it up for this episode. We appreciate you all for watching. Stay tuned because we got another episode dropping for you next week. So with that being said, we'll see you all in the next video. Peace.